Well, if you listen to what goes on in the morning on some radio stations in this town, chances are you're either hooked or shocked. And there are some who say enough already. How far is too far? Steve Powers reports.
I find him to be offensive 90%.
So it's okay, you know, it's just...
He really dwells on the borderline. I mean,
There's no question that adult morning radio gets people talking and listening. Scott Shannon's Z100 morning program, Don Imus and Howard Stern, the top shock troops in New York, account for about 600,000 listeners every morning. Some of them fans of blue radio.
They are going overboard, but to me it doesn't bother. Maybe somebody else would bother them.
I think Howard Stern is really rude and crude, and I think it's the FCC's responsibility to step in and correct Howard Stern's irresponsibility as a broadcaster.
I love Howard Stern. I think he's a riot.
I don't believe in censorship.
He's commented on blacks and Jews numerous times, and I believe Stern, he definitely should be, have a leash put on him.
A big audience, of course, can mean big advertiser dollars. In fact, a top-rated show here in New York can bring more than $1,000 a minute. But some advertisers are learning that smut may not pave the road to success. Howard Stern's syndicated radio show has been unceremoniously dropped because of lack of sponsor interest, and his local radio show slipped in the last rating book. He's number 4 in the New York market in the morning. So how much sexual innuendo and outright dirty talk will the audience be attracted to? And will the FCC allow? Scott Shannon, who presides over the top music show in New York, walks right up to the line.
You know, they don't have it here, but out in California, you believe it or not, they have a thing that they drive around. It's a promotional vehicle called the Wienermobile.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That's what Barry Manilow's doing now. He's driving that thing now.
I don't think it's up to any private citizen group to police us or anybody else. Whatever people say on the radio, as long as it's, you know, within the constitutional rights of the person, it's just fine. You know, I go back to the old button theory. If you don't like it, you punch the button.
The person who seems to attract the most lightning is Howard Stern, who is awaiting an FCC decision on a complaint from listeners who label his show obscene and indecent. Mr. Stern declined to talk with us. Don Imus, who helped start the shock radio trend, thinks that anything should go.
Coming up on 8:45, 15 till 9, Imus in the morning. We happen to have Mr. T with us now. Good morning, Mr. T.
Good morning. I have a confession to make here.
And what that would be?
Baby M is my baby.
What?
I met, what's her name?
Mary Beth.
Whitehead.
Yeah,
Her show business name was Frenchie.
Oh.
I met her at a club down in Hasbury Park.
You did?
And after a night of passionate and wild romance,
yeah,
she gave birth to my baby, Baby M. Well, of course it has to be my baby. Mr. T, Baby M. It's all letters, right?
Well, how come you're not fighting for the baby?
The hell do I want with a baby?
My main responsibility, and that's simply to entertain people, you know. And that's basically what I try to do. There's some serious things that we talk about, and some, but, you know, I'm not a serious guy, so.
And when someone from morality and media comes along and says, hey, you should be responsible for the morality of your community, what do you think?
I just think that's goofy, you know.
A lot of people might think Imus is a little goofy, but I think that there are standards that we need to protect for our families, and the courts uphold our right to protect those standards for our families. Our laws reflect those standards, and there's a lot of things that on the airwaves today that are clear violations of the law. The FCC has a congressional mandate, the duty to evaluate those documented complaints about violations, alleged violations, and if they are in a violation, the FCC has the mandate and the duty to mete out civil penalties. They can pull their license, they can fine them, they can suspend them.
That's Errol Garner and Steve Allen with his mouth full on WNEW.
Whenever you have anything in your mouth, even if it were a tiny thing, people always describe your mouth as being full.
Steve Allen has been on radio and television for over 40 years, and now he's on the Make-Believe Ballroom with Mark Simone on WNEW. He's thought, performed, and written about comedy.
If a guy wants to go out on the sidewalk and talk dirty, that's his problem or his freedom or whatever. But when he does it so that 800,000 people can be listening, including, you know, nuns and 7-year-old girls and stuff, I think it's for the birds.
The FCC is expected to hand down its decision in the Howard Stern case within the next few weeks. and then we'll know where the government stands. And meanwhile, the legal debate undoubtedly will continue. And the public can cast its vote on what it wants to hear in the morning simply by turning the knob on the radio. Steve Powers, Channel 5 News.